there, Racine. This is Made in Racine, the podcast where Lake Michigan breezes meet local legends. I'm Denise Lockwood, here to spill the fun, quirky, and totally Racine stories that make our city unforgettable. Let's dive in. This one's gonna make you smile.
All right, welcome back to part 2 of Haunted Racine. We are so grateful that you are back with us, and we're going to start talking a little bit more about what, Cheyanne?
Well, since we are in a Horlick Malted Milk Factory building, I thought we would start there. A lot of the prominent men of the early times in Racine, the 1800s, were Freemason members. And that does include the Horlicks, primarily William Horlick Jr. and his brother Alexander, also known as A.J. Horlick. And we have a couple stories about William Horlick Jr. bringing home something from Egypt.
Yes, you did. A little something? A little something.
Man. You're off now.
Now, man?
Hey.
All right, so my Masons, I love my Masons. William Horlick was a Mason, and they went on a trip and picked up some souvenirs that they were bringing back with them from Egypt. And unfortunately, William brought back some really nice artifacts. One of them was a mummy. It was intended to be in the Masonic Center. The brothers of the lodge said, no, we don't think we want that here. You probably know that mummy. It's in the museum downtown. And William had bought it to be at the Masonic Center. So we do have, given it to the museum now, all the pieces that they brought back with the mummy, representing their time there. That's all gone back to the museum now, so it's with their mummy. And I believe they did an x-ray of the mummy, and it was thought to be between an 18 and 21-year-old man.
Oh, really?
They called it the boy. So I have no idea why he thought that was going to be a nice thing to have in the mansion, in the house, but yeah, so it didn't come back with it. It's come back to us. No, it's gone.
Yeah, I read something on online when I Googled William Horlick's mummy that said they nicknamed it Malty. So it's probably not the given name of that man.
And, you know, that's interesting that you say that because obviously we are sitting in the Horlick Malted Milk Factory. Mm-hmm. Just a heads up. So you are actually in the Horlick Malted Milk Factory machine shop. Mm-hmm. So we moved in obviously a few weeks ago, and we're the only ones in this lovely building that we have beautiful floors. Mm-hmm. There's all sorts of good energy in here all the time. Right, Ron?
Definitely.
All right, keep going. Let's go.
Okay, well, piggybacking off of that, it's a beautiful segue. Ron, is Horlick haunted? Oh, well, this area haunted?
Very.
Okay.
No, I mean, seriously, I know during COVID, Travis, he's one of my assistants and investigator. We actually went here before they, decided to go ahead and do, before they decided to put everything together. And we went to some of the loading docks and we set up these devices, as you see right here, called EMF detectors. And basically, spirits are able to walk up to it and they pick up on their energy and the lights will flash. So we'll see if anybody any spirits want to chat with us tonight, go from there. So we set up like 4 of them. And then we had them communicate with us, kind of like yes or no type questions. So yes for this device, no for that device, maybe, no, I'm just kidding. But no, we had like 4 of them and they were able to pick which one they wanted to talk about. It was really cool. Of course you can't hear their voice, but at least it'll show, they're communicating through the lights and stuff. So, and the questions we were asking was, like, are you at work right now? Are you doing your daily duties? Are you working, here? Are you, what's going on, that kind of thing. Just seeing what would happen. And there's such thing as called residual energy. And residual energy is basically a timeline where it constantly repeats itself. It replays itself. It doesn't, certain time of the night, something may happen at the Masonic that always happens. Okay. Or even here or anywhere that has spirits or whatnot. Perfect example, Shaker Cigar Bar in Milwaukee. If you've ever been there, it's If you've never been there, it's amazing. I will meet you there. It's really cool. But that type of place and other places, the residual energy is just a timeline that constantly repeats itself. There's no sense of time with them. And some people also think you can investigate only at night. Well, you can investigate during the day. Yeah. We've been to cemeteries and whatnot. But yeah, there's definitely spirits that occupy this area. The VOA clubhouse, actually, that was over here somewhere. I can't remember where. We investigated there. Of course, I can't play that because it's there. So it's I didn't want to play that. But we've had spirits come through, former members, people that know them, things like that.
So when you and Travis came over to the readings, were you in a specific building, or were you just in the vicinity outside exclusively?
We're outside. We were at the loading dock in the back here, and it was cold. We had nothing to do. It's like nobody's calling us or anything. I'm like, Travis, let's go over here. So we got our gear together and we set up, and I think the live video for it is on the Racine Heritage page. I can't remember, but it's a group page on Facebook somewhere. I'll find it. Tell you what, I'll find it, and then I'll post it on the Racine Paranormal Investigator page. Like us on Facebook, and what a way to get them to like it, huh? So maybe I can find it and show you guys. But it was really cool, though.
Are there any other places that Horlicks have that is haunted?
Horlick High School is haunted.
Oh, geez.
The math room or what?
The whole building.
The whole building?
Yeah, from where Driver's Ed was into the industrial arts area, that whole place is haunted. We actually, one of our investigators claimed that they seen Ann Jarvis. You guys remember who Ann Jarvis was? She was like a staple of Horlick High School. So she was in the investigator was in the hallway and by one of the science rooms, and remember, get this right here. And she saw this older lady kind of like doing these. Go back. Scared the crap out of her. So she goes running to me. She's like, I saw this woman, give me a description and everything. And I'm like, I was working there as a hall monitor, so working there security. So I'm like, oh no, she did. I was like, oh no, she didn't. So I went ahead, and the custodian that was with us, hanging out with us, he went to the library and grabbed like 5 yearbooks and kind of laid them out where all the teacher section is, and asked one of us, asked the investigator to pick who that person was and pointed to Aunt Jarvis.
Wow.
Yeah, that was amazing. And the one in Driver's Ed didn't like me too much. I don't know what that was. Maybe because they see me during the day. I don't know at the time.
What about Grossman's Bar? Because that's a fun one too. Tell them where Grossman's Bar is.
Grossman's Bar is off Franksville.
Yeah.
Kind of near Greg's Catering, or used to be called Greg's Catering. Can't remember the name.
Right by the train tracks.
Yeah, right by the train tracks,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
That was our first investigation, and Denise did a story on us.
Yeah, that was the second time I had been at Grossman's Bar. So Grossman's Bar, just so you guys know, was an old stagecoach stop.
Mm-hmm.
So it has like hotel rooms kind of at the top, and then it's got, that's where they would pick people up and people would stay there and things along that line. So you want to go ahead and tell the story? Because you're much better at it than I am.
So, we got this call, and the one medium that we have there that was working with us too, she's been really busy. So she hasn't been really helping us too much, but Cassie, she was one of the bartenders there, and she would call us in, and we'd videotape like orbs and things like that. And orbs, let me tell you, there's orbs and there's dust, and I can talk about that later if you guys want to go into that whole thing. But there's been numerous times where bartenders would see people come in, get ready to sit down, and say, where's the bathroom at? Go to the bathroom and never come out. And the bathroom windows are very small, and these people look like full featured people. They don't look like spirits. They look like people that are coming in to hang out. And So I was like,
But they also had funerals there. It was
Yes.
a parlor.
in the living room.
Yes.
In the living room.
Yes.
Where we actually did the story at.
And that's where I met you.
Yeah.
With the box that was going.
Yeah, we used the SB7, the spirit box I told you guys about, and we're asking questions. And if you watch the video sometime, it'll show that. Now, the crazy story about this is I had my video camera going, so we were using infrared lighting, so we could see in the dark. And we're going like this. I'm panning my camera, and it crosses over with the security camera that we had there, because we use security cameras to videotape, places or whatnot. So the two IR lights crossed each other, and it created something. I don't know what it was, but if you look far enough, I don't have the photo with me, and I can show you guys sometime, but you can actually see a figure standing in the corner. And I can't tell if it's like American Indian descent, or if it's possibly like a slave or somebody that, like what they call a housekeeper or something like that or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was amazing. Because you could actually see like the dressing of the person. So we're thinking more like American Indian descent maybe, but we can't confirm that. But it wasn't me, and it wasn't anybody else that was with me. I know that. Very cool.
Sounds like you find a lot of really interesting things when you go on your ghost hunts.
What's that?
It sounds like you find a lot of interesting things when you go on your ghost hunts.
Definitely.
Well, I guess segueing into the enslaved people who would come through here during the Underground Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
I do have stuff about the Joshua Glover story, which Henry was involved with. For a little bit of a history lesson, Wisconsin was a free state during the 1850s and early 60s before the Civil War, when the people who were escaping slavery would come up north. They would cut through the Midwest and then get into Lake Michigan, take a ship to freedom in Canada. And even though Wisconsin was a free state, the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 required that any formerly enslaved people who were caught had to be returned to the place that they came from. So a famous Racine story that I got to hear was that in 1852, there was an escaped slave from Missouri named Joshua Glover. And he traveled to Racine and worked here for 2 years. And then one night he was captured by slave catchers, led by his former master, Benamy Garland, and taken to jail in Milwaukee. And that, when news came around, everybody gathered in Haymarket Square, which is now Monument Square, for the largest public meeting of that time. And Racine had been around since the early 1800s, maybe late 1700s. So that's a lot of people to try to get into one area. And delegates, including Henry, made their way to Milwaukee with the intent to get justice, and instead ended up breaking Glover out of jail. He then traveled for 2 weeks on the Underground Railroad, hiding in homes, on farms, in churches, including First Presbyterian Church. They had found archaeological evidence of people being kept there. And then he was helped by a man named A.P. Dutton, and where they were able to use his ship to get him to Toronto. And there's actually a park named after Joshua up there. So they found out that he lived up there for the rest of his days. I think he got married. So he was able to find freedom in Canada and be helped by people in Racine. So it's really cool that Henry got to be a part of that.
He was a big part of that, yes.
Mm-hmm.
What I have to add to something too is like one of our last investigations we did, we brought our medium Michael in, and we ended up finding a room in the basement, actually, that we didn't know. Well, you didn't know that it was there.
No.
And we actually were so close to getting information using devices and whatnot to see if it was part of the Underground Railroad or not, which would have gave us funding, which would have gave them funding to, save the place.
Right.
It's so unfortunate.
I mean, and Henry was, I forgot. Henry was an amazing man.
Yeah.
He, we do believe that he did help the slaves get out of here. I think he explained that to you. They got out of Racine and to safety. And I'm sure he would have done anything he had to help the slaves. Well, he helped with Joshua and his church was the church on where they hid him at, you know, so he was a big part of it. And I'm sure they were hidden in his house at some point too.
Oh, probably. Just
His
not.
house on College Avenue.
Yeah.
Could you talk about that time when you and Michael were going through the basement and you found that room that you didn't know was there?
I don't know which room you mean.
Oh, is it the one that we might think is a safe? The one with the hidden.
Oh, that. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That was really weird. Okay, so there used to be what we refer to as the safe. And the safe door is still there, but it's not on this little room. I think the guys lost the combination and broke it off at match. But I was with a tour group, and I said, oh, this used to be a safe here. And the gentleman with me reached over and he pushed a lever and pushed the door open. There was a room behind the safe we never, ever knew was there. Nobody knew. I asked all the oldest gentlemen in the lodge, how come you never told me about that safe downstairs? And they're like, no, we took that door off that safe. Nobody had ever flipped that lever and opened it up to another room. And there was etchings in the room, so somebody was in there, and that's what we believe they were hiding the slaves in this. We didn't even know it was there. So, but there's etchings on the wall where things were written. It must have been who's ever in there, maybe making marks on how many days they were in there. But yeah, and I never knew, my Mason guys never knew until I showed it to them that was there. It's really a hidden room.
Are we able to get anyone in there to look at the etchings and confirm?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I have keys. I do go in every day.
What are you doing later?
I should probably check the building.
Racine County Eye field trip.
Extra staff for the night to help you out.
We're just here to visit.
Yeah, so, yeah, that was fun to find that room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know that was a place you showed Dad and I when we went. You took us down in the basement.
Yep.
And because I don't know how many people have been down in the basement, but it is a little twisty journey. You feel like you're walking in a labyrinth. And Wendy's leading us through, and all of a sudden she turns into this workroom, and there's just this massive opening in the wall. We're like, okay, are you going to shove me in there? I'm small enough.
And we do still have the door, but that's at a completely different location. They took it off and dragged it to the other side of the basement. It's still there. It'd be kind of fun to put it back on. I'd see if they could put the door back on.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
It looked very, very heavy.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah. But if you keep going through the basement, there's actually a section where you can go underneath the porch.
Mm-hmm.
That was added on later by Frederick. So the basement itself is even really, really cool, where it's like a maze. And I don't know how you've been there your entire life.
I have been. I've been there. First picture of me was about less than 2 years old, sitting on the counter in the kitchen. So.
You never moved in?
Well, I sort of feel like I did. They don't have a working shower around. That would not be a good idea.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. They do in the basement.
Yeah, they do. They have an emergency shower.
Emergency shower. And they had to install an emergency shower when they put in a new boiler quite a few years ago. In case the boiler would break and somebody was there, they had to go to the shower and get, cooled off. But I don't think the shower was ever used. Good thing.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to use that.
No, I don't think so.
No.
The other shower would be cool. The Tiffany shower.
Yes.
That's pretty, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's so much cool stuff in that house. Mm-hmm. There's also a garage that sits behind the Masonic Center on Wisconsin Street, where a famous automobile was built.
The first
automobile
ever built in the world was built in the garage next to the Masonic Center. Unfortunately, we don't own that garage. But in that garage was a gentleman, I'm going to say his name, and you'll understand his name is Dr. Carhart. Not the sleepwear you buy or the athletic equipment, but Dr. Reverend Carhart built an infernal machine in that garage, as they called it. It was a 4-cylinder horseless carriage is what it was. And he would drive it through town. I guess it was really loud. People didn't like it. But as we called him Carhart, and every day of the week you drive something called a car. And that was what he invented in that garage, first one ever. And there's a beautiful plaque about what he did in that garage. Wow. You have to go to the back of Pritchard Park to see the plaque. But that's where it was, in that building next to the Masonic Center. So the garage is still there.
Are they going to move that plaque?
I wish they would. They should put it on the building where it belongs. I don't know why it's where it is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That doesn't make any sense. It has so much meaning if it's on the building where it was built. Well, and just down the street is the other famous garage.
Oh, you didn't tell me this one.
Okay.
New news.
New news. Another invention was credited with Racine, and people don't know a lot about this one. Wisconsin Avenue, and you're heading south on Wisconsin Avenue past the Masonic Center and whatnot. And you're in the back half of another big apartment building. And that apartment building at one time had a fire. So the second story of this garage was burnt out. This garage was part of a house at one time. So what would happen is, your horse and carriage before they invented the car. So you put in horse and carriage, they'd bring the carriage and the horses back. The horses would go in, put the carriage in the garage, release the horses and put them in their stalls. Now we got a problem. The carriage is facing the wrong way. So then you would have to pull it back out, turn it around, put it back up, put it away. So that was not working well for most people. So this gentleman created the very first ever invented turntable. You put the carriage on it, turn the table around, and back the carriage back out and put the horses onto it. So that was Racine had that invented in Racine 2 on Wisconsin Avenue. Again, another cool invention that was used around the world.
Is that in Bull Manor Apartments? Is that what that building's called?
No, I think Bull Manor's right next to me, isn't it? Yeah, Bull Manor's right next to me, so it's the one further south.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another great big apartment building.
I'm going to add that to my list of stories to do for inventions.
All right,
Okay.
she's in.
November story, here we go. Can you tell me real quick about the building that used to be in the parking lot and the reason why the parking lot needs...
Would be where it keeps sinking?
Yes, because it's funny.
There was, in the parking lot of the Masonic Center, there was a gorgeous, and I'm telling you, when I saw the picture of it, I wanted to cry when I found out our Masons tore it down. So this beautiful pink house that was used for School of Nursing students for a while, they lived in this house, and then they moved over to the Horlick house. But this house was gorgeous. But the Masonic guys wanted a parking lot. So they decided to tear down this beautiful house. Of course, it was an old house, this wood house, beautiful house. So they tore down the house, but now they got all this lumber in their way. Oh, don't worry, we'll just put it in the basement. Okay, what happens over time when you put wood underground? It's going to start to disintegrate. We are now, I think, on the third or fourth time. If you go by the Masonic Center, you're going to see the depth of where the parking lot is sinking because the wood disintegrates and this goes down. The flooring goes down again. So I think it's 4 times now that we've had to redo the parking lot because it keeps sinking in the hole. But the house was beautiful. It was gorgeous. Yeah.
Tale as old as time. They take out a building, they put in a parking lot.
I think they wrote a song about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about that place too.
Yeah, all right, what else you got, Cheyanne?
Well, we got a couple ghost stories.
We got ghost stories.
We got some ghost stories. About a week or so ago, we had Heather, our lovely coworker, put up a story on our Facebook page and Instagram asking for ghost stories. And I have 2 here that were submitted. And then, Ron, I'm sure you've got a doozy of some. So if you want to share some afterwards, you're more than welcome. Okay, so these are anonymous, by the way. I don't have names. But this is the first one. When I married, I moved to Racine. My husband owned a townhouse. At first, everything was fine. Our daughter was born. We couldn't have been happier. Then the man living on the other side passed away. It was a couple of years afterwards that we started hearing things. Someone on the other side walking on the stairs when no one was home. Then it got worse. Our daughter, about 3, was talking to someone in her room. When we asked, she said she was talking to our former neighbor. She was too young to know about him. She pointed to a corner of the ceiling. Years later, when her son was born, he also started talking to the same person in the same ceiling corner. The neighbor's wife moved out, and we thought he was gone too. No. Our daughter's second son was born 5 years later, and the same thing happened. When my dad died, we had even more activities. At this point, the other side of the house was empty. We continued to hear walking on the stairs. One time, there was so much activity that we thought someone had broken into the house, and we called the police. 2 officers came. One of them entered the basement, and the other started in the attic. They found nothing. because of course I got nothing. We had this for over 30 years. That's longer than I've been alive.
What's the address? No, sorry.
I'll send it to you later. I have it. Then I sold the house after my husband's death. Luckily, they didn't follow me. So that was the first one. Second one starts with, okay, so the first night we moved into our house in the 1980s. We had just set up the stereo. Big tower speakers, had the brown wire that connects to it. Dad, I think we had one of those. I remember those. You know, so you could jam some tunes. But my parents hadn't connected the speakers to the stereo, and the stereo wasn't plugged into the wall, but the record player turned on, and music started to play from the speakers. Everyone ran out of the house. Then one night, there was a bad storm, and the city lost power. For blocks, we couldn't see anything but maybe candle lights in a few windows. But in the front room of the basement, the light remained lit, and it had a strange glow to it. Many other occurrences happened in that house, items moving, names being called with no one there, strange footsteps. But that light being lit in the basement that night, and the stereo turning on with no power, those are things I'll never forget. So.
All right, Ron, what you got?
Where do I start? I'll start my old house. I lived on David Street for about 15 years, and it's one of the reasons why I was so scared about the whole paranormal. Well, I don't want to say whole paranormal is such a broad thing because they talk about UFOs and everything else, and that's a whole other show. But my house itself had stuff going on in it. My ex-wife and I used to call this one room the red room because they had red carpet.
That's advertised.
That was back in the days. But it was a room where we just like kept stuff in. We used it for storage and didn't go in it. But every once in a while we'd see like movement underneath the doorway. And we just ignored it. I really ignored it. She was a little more interested than I was. I was like, no, I'm good. So later on when I started getting more into this stuff, I started noticing more and more things because, you know, they pick up on like, okay, we can talk to this guy, you know, let's chat, you know. But there was other things going on in that home. We'd hear voices. You know, when you have like the curtains and you have that part that kind of keeps them divided, there was a cap. One of the caps flew off across the room one time. I used a Snapchat app that had, there's certain ones on there, you know, like the dog face one where you can you take a photo of it and be like a dog face or, you know, like a puppy or something. If you reverse that, you can also use that to see spirits with. And I did that and it picked up in my place. Okay, I'm gonna play this through this thing here, through the microphone. So I bought myself a new voice recorder and I really wanted to try it out to see how it worked, see how it sounded. And you could tell, make sure I don't hit record by accident. You could tell that I wasn't trying to do anything. It wasn't a goal. I wasn't trying to ghost hunt or anything because I had a TV going on in the back room, you know, in the background. And when you ghost hunt or ghost spirit investigate, when you're using different devices, especially like a voice recorder, you want to make sure there's no other background noise because that's called contamination. So if somebody shuffles their feet, you'll say, Travis shuffled his foot again, you know, or you play something on the table, Ron put something on the table. You have to say those things because otherwise those can be taken as communication, you know. So anyway, so I'm trying out this really cool voice recorder I thought I had, which was cool actually. And I'm gonna play this for you. And I don't get a chance to play it too much, but you can definitely hear a difference between my voice, the TV's noise, and this.
Whoa.
So I was by myself. I was living by myself in the house. Here, let me play it for you one more time. Because once it just isn't good enough to. You just got here. Hello. So,
What's that about, Ron?
I have no clue. So, obviously, I wasn't there by myself. And I was like, okay. So, I started calling my group members. What's that? Oh, they said some trouble. So, I started calling my group members and everything. I was explaining what is going on, going on. Like, when can you come over to Belle City? Here, I'm kind of freaking out a little because it's my house, But at the same time, I think this is really cool. So, like, okay. Should I do it again? Like, no, I won't. And I didn't. But not too long after that, I was getting ready to leave. I had a DJ wedding. So I got ready to leave, and I'm going down the back staircase, and all of a sudden I'm hearing jingle bells being played. Like on a turntable, like on a record player, real slow, like it's dragging, like it's turning off. You guys know what that sounds like anymore? So I'm like, what is going on here? Why am I hearing this in September? So I get downstairs and I tell a friend of mine, I was like, grab my bag, meaning my paranormal bag, my investigator bag. So I run downstairs and I'm trying to get this on video. And I'm just like ripping through these boxes I have downstairs. Where is this coming from? And it's funny because I grew up with Jamie. She lived right down the street from me. And my grandmother, I live with my grandmother, and and she was a Christmas fanatic. She loved Christmas. And she used to collect the mechanical Santa Clauses, And I'm going through the box, and I find one of the mechanical Santa Clauses that I inherited. And I'm looking underneath, and all the acid from the battery was out of it. So there's no way a battery can play with battery acid leaking out of it. And then I put two and two together. This is my grandma's birthday.
She wanted your birthday.
Yeah, I screwed up. So my grandma was a little sassy Italian lady. So she didn't play. So if I screwed up, she let me know one way or another. But that was another situation that happened in that place. But I sold it and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I could talk about a few others too. So
Yeah.
it's up to you guys.
So what else do we need to do, Cheyanne?
Well, I think save from any last minute ghost stories from either Wendy or Ron, we do have some trivia.
We do have trivia.
For the IRL studio audience, that's a perk of coming in person. You get trivia.
See, you guys get the special part.
Yes.
So if you guys ever want to, by the way, one of the things I also wanted to mention, we're going to do this again, not the same thing. So in November, we're going to do Makers and Mavericks. And we're super jacked about that because Mr. Paul Holly and Tom Frito are going to be here. And then in December, we're going to do another Made in Racine episode called A Very Racine Holiday. So we're going to talk about places like Christmas House, I think. And then TBD, yeah. So we've got a lot cooking in that whole genre. And then, so this is going to be this is a pilot. And then we're going to take a break in January. And then we're going to probably start back up in February, do some Valentine's Day love stories.
Yeah. So if you got any love stories cooking that you want other people to know about,
yes,
email us.
Also, I just wanted to mention that that if you guys have any other ideas of what else we can do with this lovely space that we get to be in, we are so open to some ideas. If there are history pieces that you want Cheyanne to do, Cheyanne's email, can I share that?
You can also find it on the website, but it's Cheyanne with an A, not an E, like Wyoming state capital, at racinecountyeye.com. Yeah, my name is very unique. Thanks, Mom. And if you want to learn more about the Masonic Center, we do have a story up there. If there is ever any effort from any of us to try to save the place or make any movement there, keep an eye out. And we hope that through listening to this, you guys know what a special place that Racine has with this building. And whether it's just you think it's very pretty or you have a cause for it or whatever, let us know. It is listed on the National Register, but it is not protected. So it's listed on the historic places for Wisconsin, but it is not prevented from being torn down or altered. So we'd like to save it for Wendy.
It's also for sale.
It is for sale.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Wendy, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
It has been for sale for some
Wanna
time.
use your microphone?
Oh, sorry.
For those listening at home.
Okay, now you can hear me. It's been for sale for over 2 years. Things have been changed in it. A brand new boiler has been put in. A brand new pump has been put in. Rebuilt compressor. There is 3 new toilets going in and working with a plumbing company right now. It is a place you could walk into and start something new. But the history behind it is just something that can't get lost. And I will be honest with you, it's going to go up for auction. My biggest fear is that it'll come down and they'll use it for something else, the land. So that building offers so much. It would be a crime that just the house itself. I love to show it off. I go in there whenever I feel like it and show it to people so they can get my version of the building. No offense to real estate people, but they don't know what that building means. You know, once you get the heart of the building, you understand. But if it's just a structure to you, you don't have that feeling for it. But once you learn the stories and once you walk the halls, you'll fall in love with it. It's inevitable. It'll happen. So right now, it's, like I said, it's going to go up for auction real soon.
So,
It's
honey,
not good.
put that on the. Oh, he's shaking his head at me. No, he says no. I can't buy the house.
Oh, no. And it is gorgeous. It's a beautiful house. It's got a ballroom on the top floor. Come on, honey.
Come on, honey. How about the ballroom? He says no.
Think of everything we could do there.
Well, I mean, it'd be great to put together a committee to help save it. You know what I mean?
Somehow, it's
got to be something we can.
my fear is someone's just going to tear it down.
Right.
Unfortunately, if they did, they're in the historic district, so they'll be in a little bit of problem with taxes. But, and being a nonprofit place, you don't pay taxes. So.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's so many nonprofits, I'm sure, who could use a home, and think of how much space you could have with all that.
All right, absolutely. Do you know that the Racine Theater Guild started their very first production was there?
Oh,
In that building.
wow.
Yeah, they were the very, when they were celebrating one of their anniversaries, they came back and did another play there because that was the first place they ever did a play. Up in the big room upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up this lovely podcast part, and then we can have questions and a lot of fun with trivia, and then we can eat more food, and Tony will. Oh my goodness! Hello there. Oh my goodness.
Ghost, turn the light back
Oh,
on.
the ghost turn the light.
This is my third podcast I've had things happen.
Oh no! You know what? It is on a timer, and I told the company that runs this place not to put us on the timer. So I'm going to go ahead and text. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I'm going to text Max and say, "Hey, turn the lights back on." So there you go. This is one of those things of we play testing. So thank you so much for being part of our conversation here. We're going to say goodbye for now, but thank you so much for coming out and enjoying our evening together. Thank you, Wendy, and thank you, Ron and Cheyanne, and all of you in the room. So we're going to wrap this baby up and find out why the lights just turned off.
The first episode of Made in Racine, Haunted Racine, brought the city's ghost stories and haunted history to life inside the Horlick Malted Milk Factory. Audience heard chilling tales from the Masonic Center and shared their own spooky encounters. Up next, the series continues with Makers and Mavericks on November 20th and a very Racine holiday on December 18th. Tickets are available now at racinecountyeye.com.